Okay, hi there. This is Sahara Drek of Storm Legacy, along with my co-host, Ryan, Lord of Ascension Tower. I gave you a new nickname today on the stream overlay.
Did you?
Do you know what? Tell me when you find it. Anyways, this is Nexus Drafthouse. This is Nexus Drafthouse, and I am your host. Ryan and I run a Storm Heroes of the Storm fan site, and this show is all about drafting. And our guest today is the two-trick pony himself, Khroen. How's it going, man? He's from Gale eSports.
It's going pretty well. How are you doing?
Not bad.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming on. Not bad at all. We are very happy about having you on here. We've been trying to get Khroen on this show for a while. Had to call the agents, had to connect his people with my people, It was a whole thing. So, yeah. For those of you who have never watched Nexus Drafthouse, like I said, it's a show all about drafting, not just for the pro level, but also in your own Hero League drafts. We try to talk about both angles. An incredibly important part of the game that I think that we both think, and we all think, that is a little bit undervalued as far as the discussion. Not a lot of draft coverage out there other than the casters before the game, really. And Khroen, how important is the draft?
Drafting is half the game at least, if not more of it. Sometimes you can win games off of having a better draft. Sometimes you can lose games off having a better draft.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you can take a bad draft and still win with it because of just pure mechanical skill, but it's definitely a big portion.
Sure. And that's the whole goal, is to make Heroes of the Storm players better at the game through drafting and drafting knowledge. So it hasn't quite soaked down to me yet, but I'm a special case. I'm bad. It's all right.
If we get you to pay attention to who's banned,
yeah, well, that
helps.
Better,
so.
I don't do that. I always suggest who's banned. So yeah, we'd like to get to know the guest a little bit. So we're gonna ask you a few questions. The tradition is that I ask the biographical questions from Street Fighter 2 of all my guests. So why don't we start with your name?
All right, my name is Khalif Hashim, and game name is Khroen, aka Apollo sometimes, but that's another story.
All right, that's another story. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And your height, with and without hair?
Without hair, I'm like 5'10", 5'11", or something. With hair, I don't even know. It's probably like 6'3", 6'4", yeah, something like
cool.
that.
Wow, that's good. That's a nice boost. And your nationality, your home country, where you fight from?
I am American. Yeah.
Like Ken.
Yep.
Ken from Street Fighter.
Oh yeah.
What else? What else do I ask? Right. What's in Street
Blood
Fighter?
type?
Blood type. What's your blood type?
I don't even know offhand. Maybe I should know that.
No, nobody does. It's all right.
And what's your fighting style?
Oh yeah, fighting style. Mm-hmm.
Do I have like some options to choose from, or do I just like make one up?
It's an open answer. You can.
Open answer. Fighting style. Super mobility, poke, and then big burst damage at the end.
All right. Yeah, I think we've all seen that.
Yeah, we all like that big finish. So
yeah, totally. The resets.
Usually do.
Right?
What else? Oh yeah, I wanted to start asking people. So I think this is like they say, you can tell a lot about a man by his shoes. I think you can tell a lot about a guest by their favorite skin in the game. What's your favorite skin?
Striker Li Ming, even though it isn't out yet.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm excited about that. Soon. Cool. All right. Well, thank you for that. So we had Khroen pick some drafts from this most recent regional was Burbank, right? Yeah, Burbank.
Yep.
And you picked 3 games to go over, and we're gonna get right into that, I think. So, first game we're gonna cover is gonna be between Gale Force Esports and Naventic. It is on Sky Temple, and this was the third match between you, or third game of the set. Yeah, third game of the set. So already we're on Sky Temple, and unfortunately, because of the way they were doing the production, like they would start the draft while the other people were still talking. So Blizzard, ESL, if you could just help me out and like just show the whole draft. Like, the draft is important. Show the whole draft, please. Like, okay. So, unfortunately, all of these have a couple picks going in, but before we get into the specific picks, what do you think are the most important priorities on Sky Temple?
Well, Sky Temple's a pretty open map, so you're gonna see a little bit of prioritization on heroes. Say, like, we see Falstad, that's one of the bans here. Falstad gets a lot of value by being able to soak the bottom wave and fly up when there's temples. You see heroes like Zagara and like Thrall prioritized a bit in the bottom lane, just because like Sky Temple has a huge bottom lane sort of emphasis. Yeah, picks like that, and then just like strong picks in general. But yeah, Sky Temple's. I'm sorry, what?
I was just gonna say, so like you would say the biggest priorities on this map are both global movement and a strong solo laner for bot.
Yeah, as well as a good like temple holding team, I guess. Like if you have a strong 4-man as well, like you can sort of dictate how the 4-man goes. You're pressured to invade them onto whatever temple they're on, stuff like that.
Okay, so going into this match, though, how did the first 2 games in the series kind of inform your decisions or your plan going into this game? Was there anything they played really well that you wanted to keep away from them? Were you playing the map, and because you guys had first pick, were you going to draft your team and let them come into you? Or what was the plan going in?
I think it's a little bit of both of that. I think we're strong versus Naventic in general. We're very confident versus their style of drafting. Because usually it's very aggressive. I guess it's like sort of like Korean-esque. Like you see Naventic take a lot of their inspiration from Korean drafting, and we had already found success in the previous game with our Tracer pick actually, where I believe they had picked Illidan, and so we didn't really prioritize picking or banning that because we're trying to see if they wanted to go into that sort of similar style of comp again. And so I guess. I guess I'll go into talking about the bands.
Yeah,
like
please
they're,
do.
Yeah, like they're very strong on heroes like Greyman and like Tyrael, where they can just kind of like go in with that style of composition. You see, the rise of Tyrael in North America now because he was pretty popular in like Korea, and even I think Europe, for a while, but didn't really catch on until now in NA.
Well, we're stubborn Americans, you know.
a little bit. So yeah. So the first ban, we were first pick, first ban. So we banned the Gray Man out. They just deny that, and then they ban the Falstad to deny us that sort of global pressure that I was talking about earlier, which is pretty strong. And so we picked Zagara, which is very, very strong. It had probably, I think, the highest, not the highest win ratio in the tournament, but it had like an 83% involvement rate, I believe, and then like a 62% win ratio, which is pretty insane for the hero that's like involved that much in the drafts.
It's crazy.
So, pretty good rework there, though.
Yeah, I mean, for a few weeks,
really,
we didn't know, like, is Zagara that good? She's been reworked, you know? Like, is she... But apparently she's pretty good. So, yeah, that's interesting to know because I wasn't sure playing her, but I am no pro, so... Yeah. Zagara, a very good hero this past weekend. And so Naventic, you took away their Greymane, which Greymane fell off a lot this tournament as far as win percentage, right?
Yeah, I think it did a little bit. I think the biggest Greymane nerf that hurt him was the range nerf on the ultimate ability. Yeah, that was. I think that's pretty impactful. I think it's actually like a little less even than the E range right now. So it does definitely hurt him because it diminishes his ability to just like being able to finish a target pretty much like from wherever he is. He has to get like in really close, and it's creates a lot of weird situations for the Greymane and for his team.
They really want us to try the other ult. Please do the other ult. I like the other ult, but they want everybody to play the other ult. Yeah. Come on.
It's like, wait a minute, this ult's getting picked every game. Let's just nerf it instead of buffing the other one.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. They keep changing it to try, but I'm sure it'll get there. So the Zagara first pick, obviously she was already really strong on Sky Temple. Now she's apparently even better on the map. So they went ahead and you guys picked up Zagara. And which player was on Zagara this match?
Ooh, I believe who was on it this map? I think it must have been Ralphocopter.
Okay.
On the Zagara.
Okay. So going into Naventic's first 2 picks here, they pick up Illidan Tassadar, which has been a powerful combo pretty much since this game existed. So tell us what kind of reaction you have to that kind of first 2 picks.
Well, we know they're going to be tempted into taking Illidan into the Zagara because Illidan's a lane that actually like can win against the Zagara. I'm not sure if it's actually goes. I think it's sort of like even nowadays. But before the Zagara changes, Illidan could, if he played it correctly, win that matchup. And so we sort of like baited them into doing that, and we were really confident against that because Tracer is not only good against Illidan comps, but it's also good against like Illidan Tassadar comps especially, because Tracer can just do whatever she wants to her backline, and like we had already known that we're comfortable on Tracer at this point. We had a win with it game 1,
Yeah, for
so
sure.
we're kind of baiting them into that sort of style. So like in the sort of the draft, like we're at this point in the draft rather, we're very ahead because like we sort of have them like where we want them.
Okay, so you think they're kind of playing into the past 2 games, like they're kind of trying to maneuver around you in this draft, which is exactly what you want the enemy team doing.
Yep.
And obviously that sort of thing is going to be a little harder in Hero League, because you can't build a comp in Hero League really. Like you can't be like, this is our comp we run, guys I met 10 seconds ago, you know. But it's very interesting on the pro level, the mind games and the history that goes into each draft. It's very cool. So I didn't think about that. So Tracer's really good against Illidan Tassadar simply because of what, the lack of CC, or
the lack of them being able to deal with her. Like Illidan jumps on Tracer, Tracer blinks away. Illidan cannot keep up with the Tracer just at all, and like Tracer is not good into heroes that can either like out trade her by auto attacking, or can maybe like stun lock her when she comes in. But they did not have that with this Illidan Tassadar start.
Okay, so for our own purposes, if you like playing Tracer a lot and you want a good time to pick her in, say, Hero League or whatever, it would be against sort of comps that what sort of comp don't you pick Tracer into versus you should, I guess is what I'm asking.
Say if they have like an Uther ETC and you try to like go ahead and pressure their backline, Uther just point and click stuns you and then you get slid by ETC. It's a bad time for you as Tracer.
Right.
You want to try. Like, it's really hard to pick up Tracer early on in the draft unless Eventic 1-2's Illidan Tassadar, then they like are kind of trapped in that sort of Illidan comp.
Right.
At that point, but like you kind of, if you're looking to play Tracer in Hero League, you want to pick her towards the end of the draft when you already know what your opponent's team composition will be, because then you can gauge, will I be safe with Tracer here? Can I like pressure their backline and like not get punished for it?
Okay, gotcha. Kind of like a late game pick. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
I guess speaking of that, I mean, if we advance, one more step in the draft here, you did end up picking up the Tracer here. Did you pick her up in the middle of the draft here instead of at the end because you were worried about the ban?
Yeah,
okay.
I think so. Because like Tracer here is really like we don't have to hold the Tracer here for fear of them banning it. Like we had just taken a game off of them with Tracer. They already had Tracer like in their minds,
right.
And they didn't try to do anything to like counter that. So we just can pick it here with like no consequences. There's not really anything else we have to prioritize besides the ETC, which we can pick as well because there's a 2-pick phase.
Right.
So yeah, ETC is also really good against Illidan as well, just because. Like, first of all, Illidan and Tassadar, they don't provide any CC, so they have to pick up some CC down somewhere down the line in the draft, which might either take away from the Illidan comp or just give more food for the Tracer to kill, which ended up happening. So both of those picks right here kind of counter their comp.
Gotcha. Yeah, okay, so it was already safe for Tracer. All right.
Yep.
So the second ban that Niantic does here, they ban out the Uther. Was that just a Divine Mosh thing, or would you assume?
I think I think it's mainly a Divine Mosh thing. Like, Uther isn't really that great for their team, and they just don't want us to have it at that point.
Okay, gotcha. All right, not much to say beyond that then. And you guys go ahead and ban out the Tyrael now. I thought this was an interesting ban. Could you tell us about the motivation behind that?
Some of the motivation is that Niantic is comfortable on Tyrael because of that sort of Korean-esque style drafting that they're used to doing. It's a comfort pick for them, as well as it's good with their sort of dive comp. Like if they pick another dive hero and they have Tyrael to complement that, they can get on our backline and just Sanctification, like say if we could like mosh pits them and Tyrael just sanks them out of it. Like it's something that we don't want to have to deal with. Like we can do with pretty much anything else. It's just that Tyrael might give them that sort of edge.
Okay.
So we just ban it so they can't have that at all.
Right. Okay. So you would say so far your draft's weakness might be dive.
Yeah, it just might be something that can, I guess, like more so the invulnerable. I think like the dive paired with the their potential, I guess, to be invulnerable inside of our back lines. Like, we couldn't really do anything to them. Like, our comp is going to excel in the Tracer pressuring their back line, and so if Gale just sanctifies and they can dive right after it, then, like, I can't do anything because they're all sanctificationed, and then they'll just pressure us and maybe kill us.
Okay.
Like, it'd probably be a lot closer than that, but we can still make that closeness by banning material in general.
So it's interesting then that both of your second bans were about dodging an ult, really, avoiding a big ult. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, did you say something?
Well, I was just saying, going into Navented's picks here, what were you expecting them to pick up now? I mean, they start to see what your plan is. You know, they've already started down this Illidan route. Clearly, they need some CC. What were you expecting them to pick up?
Well, they can either, for a healer, pick up Rhaegar is maybe likely, but it doesn't give them an interrupt for Mosh Pit. And so the other option for that is Brightwing, who is also pretty decent on this map because she has global pressure. So you can split with Brightwing and then teleport in when you're needed, and also it provides Polymorph to cancel the Mosh. And so we're expecting like one of those two healers at some point, and the other tank that's up right now is Muradin. They also, I guess, could go a new Barak, but yeah, I think the tanks that they're looking at right now are like a new Barak, Muradin, and the healers are Rhaegar, Brightwing, and then they need another damage besides that, and it could be a few different things, but
was there anything you guys were worried about at this point?
At this point, no. We can, I think, deal with pretty much anything that they have, and so we're feeling pretty confident. Like, no matter what they pick, we feel as though we have answers to it.
Gotcha. Okay. So they do pick up exactly that, Brightwing Muradin. Muradin obviously seeing somewhat less play. Still a good warrior in your estimation, I assume, just not quite the head and shoulders above the rest anymore.
It was like Muradin ETC, like top for a while. I think ETC is sort of taken a little bit of a, I guess, a little bit of a lead there. Yeah, a little bit of a spot where people are prioritizing him. But Muradin's not bad by any means. Muradin's still a really good tank.
Okay.
Just slightly less prioritized.
Yeah. So the Brightwing here, Brightwing is hard to kind of know when to pick, and obviously needing a strong polymorph against a hero like Illidan or Butcher or something, or the Mosh Pit is a good reason to pick her. When is her healing enough? Obviously they have a Tassadar, right? So do you need a team with more sustain to pick Brightwing? Like what's Brightwing's place, I guess, in a comp?
Well, from this comp right here, Brightwing is a good pick because they already have a Tassadar healer with the shields, and they're kind of like all-inning on this Illidan style comp. And Brightwing is good at healing Illidan style comps because one, she has phase shield to give Illidan like double shield with the Tassadar, and just like the comp is give Illidan shields and Illidan will carry the game. That's what that comp is. So it's one of the styles that Brightwing is good at. She also on 13 has the talent that reduces spell damage, which is also really good. That's more survivability for the Illidan, more survivability for anyone even if they're ever pressured. But we're also seeing a bit of what's it called, Emerald Wind Brightwing recently, and the style of comp that sort of counters hard engage. Like you see heroes maybe like Kerrigan or Greymane or like Illidan, some kind of, like heavy dive comp team, and Brightwing will just sit back with her team, and if they are able to come in, she'll just Emerald Win them away and kind of like reset the fight and out-sustain them. So Brightwing is good for like trying to out-sustain your team comp. She's good for long drawn-out fights. She's good for split pressure when you want to get the lead by soaking, and she can even like in the middle of a fight, like if she's really low, actually like TP back to base, get full, and then teleport back if she has the TP back up. So it's a pretty versatile hero in that sense, which excels at sustained fight, and also she's good at blocking burst damage with her level 13 E talent.
Okay. Now, would you guys have been tempted to pick up the Brightwing here if they hadn't grabbed it to deal with Illidan, or wasn't that something you guys are interested in?
I think it's an option that we could have, if they had, say, picked up Rhaegar instead. We could have looked to pick Brightwing. It was an option.
So
Definitely.
the way you're selling Brightwing to me here, I don't know, Aquaface must have gotten to you or something, but like to me, the way you're describing it sounds like that's a great healer. I mean, she does it all. When should you not pick Brightwing? What kind of comps is she bad against or with?
She's bad at healing a lot of burst, burst like melee or physical damage. Like she's good at like negating some of it, but by herself she really struggles at healing. Say you're running like a kill comp, which is pretty common. It's like easy. Oh, like you can run like kill Foss paired with your ETC and like slide stun somebody. Brightwing is like, oh, okay, let me throw a pixie dust on you with my E, and then like I'll give you one heal with my trait. You still died. I can't heal all of that.
Okay.
So like she struggles against a lot of burst damage. She's really good at sustained fights. I think Brightwing is also like, Brightwing is better when you have a team that knows how to play with the Brightwing. She's one of those kind of heroes. But if you don't, then Brightwing will struggle, and you won't be able to heal up your team. That's why you see like she's paired in Illidan comps with the Tassadar, because there's more healing and more sustain to heal your team.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So you guys end up picking up the Rhaegar since the pretty much that or Karazim are the only healers really left, and a interesting off-tank Anubarak pick. What made you go towards that?
Well, the Nubrak pick actually, like, it's probably not that conventional, and we were debating between a couple of picks. We were debating actually between Sonya here and the Nubarak.
Right.
We were debating.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say Udall plays a lot of Sonya. Sorry, I said go ahead and then talked. Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. Sonya is played by Udall a lot. Yeah. And she's pretty good against Illidan, because like you can out-trade Illidan always. Like Illidan will start to, like, if Illidan ever goes into Sonya will just spear and then slam, and slam damage goes through the evasion, so you won't really be able to block much damage against the Sonya, which is why Illidan really excels in some 1v1 matchups.
Mm-hmm. So then what? I'm sorry, I guess I'm not quite understanding why the Nubarak over the Sonya then.
Nubrak over the Sonya is actually because we need someone to both have the potential to be able to peel for our backline, or like one of the tanks in this scenario is going to like peel for our backline, and the other tank is going to pressure with like the backline with the tracer. And Sonya can't really pressure the backline that easily. Sonya is pretty, okay, I'm gonna sit here and like kill the frontline hero. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you can get good damage, or like a good flank and then good damage with the backline, but usually against teams who are very like aware of positioning and like where people are on the map and stuff, you're not really gonna get to flank a Sonya really well. And so if we had Sonya ETC, it would be me alone in the backline pressuring, and while that could have worked, the team can more easily sort of kite back, and while I'm the only one there, I'm forced to recall away, and then I have to play safe until my recall's back up.
Okay.
So it's the more versatile sort of pick with the Anubarak. It allows our team to be able to do more versus their Illidan. It's better in more scenarios, whereas the Sonya is only sort of good into that one scenario where like you're just like Illidan dives into your backline and you just like kill him.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Which they could probably they could play around that easier than the Nubarak pick.
So they're banking heavily on the Illidan, so you're countering by focusing more on shutting him down with that pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also being able to utilize like chasing with the tracer as well to their backline, pressuring it. It's just like we picked it because it's more flexible for the different situations that would happen in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a great point. Something I didn't think about was pairing it with the tracer to dive in, maybe.
Yep. Dive buddy, yeah. And but the thing, looking at your comp, that tracer is going to need to do a lot of damage, which of course you're capable of, as we saw. I missed the last pick. Oh man. Well, it was Kael'thas. So they picked up the Kael'thas. Here's the stats from the game. Obviously, a lot's been said about Kael'thas. I don't think we need to explain it too much. He's does a lot of damage, and he didn't get his most recent nerf yet during this match. So looking at the stats here, you guys pretty much really quick game, tripled their kills, and the tracer, checking out the damage here, 47,000 hero damage in 13 minutes. So yeah, you were able to get out a lot of that damage, and Raffle on the Zagara did a pretty good amount of hero damage too. Eight kills for your tracer there, so yeah, good job. So looking at this, what do you think this match right here is a great example of winning in the draft?
I think so. Yeah, I think they needed to be able to, like, I don't know, they couldn't pressure us enough for what our comp was able to do. Their backline is really susceptible to our new Bragg Tracer, and they just sort of fell into that pressure. I think we even see Kenma being scared. I'm not sure if this is the game where he actually went Ice Block in one of the games. I believe
wow.
it was this game where he went Ice Block on Brightwing just because I was like focusing him in fights, and as soon as he blinked in, I would just turn to him and he couldn't really do anything against it.
Yeah, I think that was.
Yeah.
It was either there were 2 games with Brightwing against Tracer, right?
Yeah,
And I
one was
think
the Blackhearts game, and then it was this game.
This game, okay. So this is the one where you really killed Brightwing a lot. I remember that game. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah.
Well, can we just talk a little bit about the Tailtoss pick? This seems like,
No, sure.
I don't know, in my mind, a pretty poor choice considering the Anubrag dive and, you getting back to him. He doesn't have a great escape. Like, what were they thinking here? I mean, obviously they need some sort of backline sustain, but it doesn't seem like it was maybe the best choice. I don't know.
I think whatever backline they pick here will fall to our pressure. Like, they could get Sylvanas, they can maybe get maybe a Lunara, but that doesn't really, it's not really that great. Like, they wanted something to pair with the Muradin, and they have also Brightwing Poly CC as well. So once Muradin stuns, it's kind of easy for the Kael'thas to follow up and stun that. We have, I think, I don't know, Kael'thas is also okay against Tracer, assuming that he has the proper peel. Like, Kael'thas will like bomb Tracer, and it'll chunk her to about like half HP, so it forces the Tracer to have to be a little bit careful. I think they felt as though they could outsustain our damage and end up winning the fights with like turning and being able to get a pick with the Muradin and Kael'thas, which they weren't able to actually end up doing just because our pressure was so great.
Yeah, between the Brightwing and Tassadar shields, they thought they could sit there and take it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I kind of think Kael'thas is fine here because you still need range damage. Obviously, your team is pretty low on damage besides Illidan. At least he has a stun. He can get Arcane Barrier. There's not a lot of choices as far as like Jaina is gonna die even more easily. Like Raynor is Raynor. Although you do have 2 tanks. I don't know. Raynor might have been okay, but I don't mind. I don't hate the Kael'thas here. But so you guys won that one, and you ended up winning the series too. It was a good one. Went all the way to 5 games. It was a very interesting series. But we are not going to talk about other games from that series right now. We are going to, first we're going to give away a prize because, we give away prizes.
Hey.
Fabulous prizes. First, which one do I want to give away first? Let's do this one. We have a Murhawk, which is, I believe, a Murky with a Mohawk toy, like little one of those pop vinyls. So, my can is backwards, but it says Murhawk, trust me. So all you have to do is type in the chat, give it a minute, and I'll draw a winner. And then, by the way, so last time we were on the Blizzard launcher thing, we had a bunch of viewers and we did some prizes. And if you are really far away from the United States, and I know this is like so imperialistic, but like I had one winner in Peru and one winner in Berlin, and I went to ship them I was like, all right, time to ship their prizes, and I was like, oh, it's $400 to ship you a Diablo action figure. I see. So you could still participate if you're outside the country, but you will be if you win, I will send you a BattleNet gift card code. That way we could just do it on the internet. So just so you know. All right, so I'm going to draw a winner now. Let's do this. All right, rolling. No, don't you lie to me. This thing says there's no one in the chat room, but... All right, everyone type again. Sorry, I had to boot it up first. Type words. Words. Okay.
Just you.
There we go. Your chances are getting really high. If you don't, good for whoever typed. There we go. I'll give it 30. I didn't know I had to boot up the program and then have you guys type, so I'll give it a minute. So I gotta say that are Naventic kind of your arch rivals still? Obviously you want some vengeance against AMG, but would you say they're your rivals?
I think so. I think they're probably our biggest rivals so far. Actually, our first day of coming together as a team of 5, actually, In the qualifiers, DreamHack Austin,
Mm-hmm.
we went up against Naventic and actually took it to a game 3 and almost ended up beating them on like our first day as a team.
Right.
And ever since then,
I was
we're
there.
like, ooh, like we have the we have the potential to beat Naventic. Naventic's a really strong team, but like we can do this. Then the next week we qualify after beating Cloud9.
Yeah, I was in that audience in Austin. Yeah, I was like,
Oh,
I've never, heard, I was like, I've never heard of these guys, but wow, like this is awesome. Well, I've heard of the player, like, obviously you heard of Udall and Roth.
And then we,
you were new. I
I
didn't know who you were actually, but yeah.
Yeah, I was just a little pleb in the amateur scene, wanting to do big things.
Yep,
I had big dreams.
Little man.
You're right on your way now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see who this winner is. Yeah, you've done great, man. It's awesome. So our winner is DJ Feng Shui. DJ Feng Shui, if you just send me a message with your address, I will send you the Murhawk. Congratulations.
Nice, congrats.
Or a Battle.net gift card.
Yeah, if you're in Peru. I was like, oh my god, Peru is really far. Okay. All right, so we're going to get to our second draft, which is Game 3 between Gale Force eSports and Murloc Geniuses on the Garden of Terror. And right away, Garden of Terror, you're like, wait, Garden of what? Like, what is this? Like, and I believe, was this your pick or MG's pick?
This was indeed our map pick.
Okay, so we almost never ever saw Garden of Terror before this weekend in competitive. So was this a pocket thing for you guys? What changed?
Only thing that changed was, I guess, our willingness to learn and be able to play on new maps. We want to be able to be sort of unpredictable, I guess, in that sense. Like, teams won't know what maps they want to ban against us, what to prioritize. It makes it harder for our opponents, and it's not really that much more work. Just make sure you're comfortable on a map enough so that it can force bans in the tournament, because some teams actually ban Garden of Terror against us.
Really? Okay, didn't know that. That's cool. So, we have never talked about this map on this show, and obviously I missed some of the picks because of the VOD, but that's all right. What are the priorities on this map? What do you need to be looking to draft into in this map? Like, it's all Greek to me, man. I don't know this map that well.
I think this map's a little bit more flexible. I know there's always the standard, you can pick Lost Vikings in this map, because Vikings can get a lot of value. We didn't end up doing it this game, because I don't think either team was really comfortable in playing Vikings, but what's good on this map is people that are able to clear the waves. Like, you need a little bit of wave clear for this map, otherwise you're going to get pushed in. The opponents are going to steal your seed camps, and then you're just going to be behind from there. But, like, there's kind of, besides that, you can sort of draft standard-ish comps on this map, and it can be pretty fine. Having a decent invade comp to invade their seed camps isn't a bad thing, which you see us kind of lean to this game a little bit.
Yeah, I heard one of the commentators, I think it was Dreadnought, I don't quite remember, but he said something I had never thought about, and he said, winning this map is all about the little camps, the little seed camps. Whoever gets more of those. And I mean, it's true, but I had never put it in words for myself, so that was interesting for me. So, who had first ban? That would be Murloc Geniuses. Had first ban here, and they do go ahead and ban out the Illidan. Do you think that's straight up just like we know you're good at it, here you go? Yeah.
Yeah, I think these bans are purely target bans, both of them actually. They didn't want to play against our Illidan.
That's right.
We didn't want to play against their Zagara.
It was Coffin Luck on the Zagara, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I've been watching that guy play StarCraft since I was like a teenager, so that's awesome that he plays heroes, yeah. And his Zagara was mean, really mean. So
yeah, he does one of the best Zagaras in North America.
Yeah,
definitely for sure. He was really good on that hero.
So they go ahead and pick up the Falstad. Falstad had his ult nerfed a little bit, but still a very high priority hero. What maps do you not take Falstad early on? Obviously this one you probably would, but...
I guess smaller maps, like Tomb of the Spider Queen, you don't really prioritize Falstad that much, just because that's a map where, like, just having a strong, like, rotation is what you prioritize on that map, and having, like, a good solo laner. And Falstad is a pretty decent solo laner. He can sort of, I guess, sustain it at level 4 with, like, hammer gains, but he's not really good early on those maps, like, sort of smaller maps. Big maps he gets a lot of value just because of his global And that's why you really see Falstad picked. Like Falstad on this map is value in the scenario where, say, you're getting seeds on one side of the map, and like you can get seeds, soak the land, and then you can fly all the way across the map to just like contest their seeds or like defend if they go to your team. It's just Falstad's a very versatile hero in that sort of regard.
Yeah, and this map kind of rewards that versatility. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So your first two picks coming out here are the Greymane Tyrael. Obvious synergy there, and Greymane still a very high priority hero. Taking the Tyrael really early, so you were thinking basically that your Tyrael was going to be worth that second pick, essentially. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because like there are options for tanks right now, which is kind of what we talked about earlier, being a really strong tank is ETC, and Tyrael is actually pretty decent against that because we can dive and we can use Sanctification, and they can't really do anything against it. It's also really good versus Falstad Mighty Gust as well, because you just dive, Sank, and if he gusts, it won't do anything until the Sanctification is over. And yeah, so we're already like how I was talking about earlier, like having a good like comp to invade onto their seed camps to get the seed camp lead. Actually, this comp does a decent job already of like setting up for a good comp to do that.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I had never thought of Tyrael as being good against ETC, but that makes sense. Huh. Okay.
It can be.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a counter, but it can work.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Let's see. Second and third pick from Murloc Geniuses is Uther Li Ming. So I feel like I remember watching this and thinking the Uther pick was I remember thinking these were both picks to deter you from having these heroes.
Yes, very much so with the Li Ming.
Yeah, obviously.
And the Uther, I think, it's good so that we don't have it. Of course, they could have banned it. You see Uther being prioritized with Greymane a lot, just so we can just throw D-Shield on Greymane and you can go and kill the backline. And it's good to kill like a Falstad. It's good to kill a lot of backline heroes like that. And we know that Murloc Genius' support player June is a really good Uther player. I think he played Uther a lot in that tournament. So here it might have been like a comfort pick for him, a little bit of deny, like a little bit of both of those things in the scenario.
So to me, if I'm sitting on your side of the match there, and I see the Uther pick, I don't see anything on their side yet that's like fantastic with Uther, you know, like a great Divine Shield target or something. So does that raise some flags for you? Like what Uther target are they going to take?
I think here we're pretty confident that they're trying to respond to us.
Okay.
So we sort of hold the driver's seat in this comp. Like we know that they have a solo heal Uther, and that struggles to heal against a lot of poke damage. It's good against a dive comp, but it struggles. Uther has some downfalls and has some faults. So like if they try to go another healer to complement that, so like a Tassadar, like that's bad with their comp. They can't really do that because having a triple backline with like Falstad, Li Ming, Tassadar, it doesn't really accomplish anything. Like sometimes it can, but very, very rarely will it. And so we know they're probably going to look to go into a melee hero and a tank. And the melees that are up right now, let's see, there's Thrall up, there's Kerrigan, there's Zeratul.
Sonya.
Yeah, Sonya. There's Sonya up as well, which, like we're able to deal with that. I'm pretty sure. Right. Like Sonya is okay with Sonya's pretty good with the D shield, but if we just Sonya comes in and we just Sanctification on top of her and just turn and kill whoever, then that's not that valuable.
Oh, that's what it was. You reminded me. I think previous to this, you had gotten the double invulnerability with Tyrael Uther in the match previous to this, if memory serves. And I remember thinking that it was really damn good. And to me, my perception of it was they're avoiding that double invulnerability, but which I'm sure was a factor in the pick. But also June is fantastic on the hero. Yeah. So
yeah, I think it was a combination of probably all those things. Yeah.
Okay. So good picks from them. You guys do ban out the ETC like you were saying earlier. Their tank pool's getting pretty slim.
Yep.
Yeah.
They pick the Uther, so if they go ETC and Mosh, that's kind of scary because while you can like sometimes sank your team out of stuff, like just it's a really
It's
hard
awkward.
combo to be able to. Yeah, it's awkward. So we just eliminate that completely, force them onto other tanks. Fear is a really good tank player, so he's very versatile. So we just want to take him off of the ones that he can, like they can make plays if they get ATC here.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to eliminate that.
Sure. So they go ahead and ban out the Rhaegar. You don't have a healer yet, so that leaves you kind of with the Brightwing, maybe a couple other choices. Yeah.
Yeah, choices here, maybe like Brightwing or Monk. Probably not Mouth because we don't really see Mouth that much anymore. But we saw Medic a couple times this tournament, but.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to pick Medic, we would save it towards the last pick. And she's also really awkward to heal Greymane with because Greymane dives in and Medic's like, oh, okay, I want to keep up and heal you. And she runs into like a bad position sometimes.
Right.
So yeah, Monk and Brightwing are probably the two ones we'd lean towards in this scenario.
Which reminds me, actually, now that we have a new healer in the game, do you think it's going to change these kind of drafts a lot now that there's another option there? Well, I mean, assuming she's good, maybe she's terrible. I've only played her a little, but what do you think of Ariel as far as placing the meta, real quick?
Well, I'm not 100% sure because I haven't played with her in competitive at all, and I've only really seen her in Hero League. It seems as though she could have a place in the meta. It seems as though she's really good into comps where you have a large amount of sustained damage, because with the sustained damage, it'll give Ariel more of her resource bar, which will provide more sustained healing.
It's an interesting dynamic. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. I always like the direction that Blizzard takes with their hero design. I think it's really innovative and really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely props to them for that.
Yeah, I love it. It's one of my favorite things about this game is the hero design, because I've been playing MOBAs a long time, and this game has the best hero designs to me. All right, cool. So you guys pick up. This is interesting to me. Going really scary sanctification comp here with Kerrigan Brightwing. Yeah, so you guys are kind of. Looks like you're going all in on these Sanks, yeah?
Yeah, I really like that dive.
Yeah, we have so much dive potential here. They have Nuclear D-Shield one target, but then we can just switch to another target with the Greymane, like dive, like Carrion jumps in, like pressures the combo on somebody, like they D-Shield, we just instantly turn to somebody else, and it's so much pressure. It sort of forces them to be able to pick something to be able to deal with that, and so we're just sort of. We're being in the driver's seat once again for this draft. We're forcing them to respond to our picks, and we already know that since they picked they picked the Uther and they can't really go to the support hero, that's not a lot of sustained healing. So we actually end up this is kind of a weird scenario, and it's like we know that we're not always gonna get a lot of value off of this Kerrigan pick. And Garden of Terror is a map where, hey, you can just throw a hero into the Garden Terror, and that's one of your members. Doesn't matter who it is at that point, it's a Garden Terror. And Kerrigan sort of falls off later game because she jumps in, has combo, and that's about it. We don't really have a lot of sustained damage. But that's what it goes into our last pick later on the line. But that's why we're forcing them to respond to us right now.
Yeah, for sure.
This Kerrigan Brightwing.
I think that using her in the Garden Terror and explaining that is really helpful to a lot of players.
Yeah.
Because I think, it looked like this was super dive heavy, and if the Sank didn't work, you guys were gonna be in trouble. So I think that.
Yeah, I had forgotten. I had forgotten completely about the Garden Terror. Yeah, for sure.
It's Garden of Terror. It's scary because when you see this in draft, it's like, oh, okay, they're just gonna dive onto us. We need to pick heroes to respond to that dive. But then they sort of they forget the map a little bit at this point as well. So it's sort of it's good. Kerrigan's also always really good for early game because you're able to get picks with it early. But in later game when she sort of falls off a little bit, then we just throw her in the Terror.
Right, and someone during the cast called it Kerrigan armor, which that's exactly how it worked. Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool.
And I do like the fact that you guys are clearly in the driver's seat. The fact that right now it looks really scary. Now they're gonna have to deal with you and maybe give up something else that they wanted. It's really gonna, not work out for them. So.
Yep.
So they do go ahead with a couple. They go 2 warriors here. Johanna, obviously, Muradin was still left. Johanna, a very passive style kind of super tank, and a Nubrek with a lot of CC. Do you think go ahead?
I was saying it seems like it was really about the interrupt and having something that could tank some of that dive, and provide some peel. Especially, that seems like it was a direct response, right? There's not obviously they needed a tank, but picking up 2
I think that's exactly what it was. They felt they needed to peel our damage, and so they picked a pretty good front line. So like when we dive onto them, they kind of stand there and they just take the damage. Like Falstad can gust maybe like one or two heroes that like aren't in the sank maybe, and they can just Johanna to like blind the Greymane so Greymane can't do damage, and Nubrak just popping his ultimate with beetles and just like tanking so he can't apply damage.
Yeah.
They have that D shield for Nubrak if he like gets like chunked out, and so he can just D-shield and just keep walking forward into our team, and we struggle to heal. Like if they're chasing into us, like we're gonna probably struggle into that as well because they have huge damage with Li Ming, and Brywing can't really heal through that burst. And they have Gust, which is good control ultimate.
So speaking of that, I mean, that clearly it was a pretty decent counter on paper. How are you guys feeling at this point? I mean, clearly you've made them counter pick you, but it seems like they picked up some pretty good responses.
At this point, when we see the picks, we already threw this hero's name around a bit. We know what we're gonna pick right now, and it's the Lunara.
Lunara. This was interesting.
Lunara is such a good pick here for a few reasons. One, because if she goes Splintered Spear at 4, and they have like two frontline heroes, and like Uther might not get hit by it, but just Lunara poison tick damage in general is really good into Uther because Uther has 2 heals with a pretty long cooldown. Uther throws out those heals, and Lunara just keeps on poking and keeps dealing damage, and Uther struggles to heal that. Also, another reason why it's good here is into a Nubrak. Lunara can just poke a Nubrak all day long, and he can't really do much about it. He is either forced to burrow away, and then his escape is down. He can't really do anything. Or he burrows in, and they want to like dive onto us, but we have the Sanctification at that point. So they're really stuck here in terms of what they can do with their comp. And so we see Lunara get so much value this game just because her ability to shred the enemy team and poke them out.
Yeah, and the Splintered Spear had the added effect of also, it was really impressive just talent choice, both that it hit a lot of those melee heroes because this is a melee-heavy comp, and Lunara is already strong against that. But against the objectives, actually, against the little seed camps, against, not so much the big one, but I definitely saw its value on this map, the Splintered Spear. So, yeah, very cool pickup by the Lunara there. It surprised me. I was like, wait, what is this going to do? But I saw what it did, and it did a lot. So, looking at the stats here.
I mean, it ended up getting top damage.
You had a very low kill game, 8 kills to 6, and a little bit over average length game. You were on the Greymane here, and it looks like my overlay is cutting off your stats a little bit. There we go. With 70,000 hero damage, by far the most hero damage that Lunara. Just easy pickings for her, really, with that comp they had. Yeah, what else stands out to you on this score screen?
The score screen, to me, looking at it after the game, it tells me the story about this game wasn't even our first 4 picks. Our first 4 picks scared them into responding to us, and Lunara was like the star of this game. Lunara is why we won. We were able to poke them out, and then like Greymane and Kerrigan was just in the Garden Terror for a large portion of the game. That's why you see her have so much siege damage. And Greymane's just there to finish off the kills after Lunara chunks them and pokes them out.
With 0 deaths. Very nice.
Yep.
0 deaths.
And obviously, Uther was the target here, right? Because once those heals are gone...
Yeah, he steps up to try to heal his other people. We can just turn on him. He doesn't have anything. He just dies. We have Sanctification to save us. Yep.
Yeah, this seems like a pretty clear win again in draft.
Yeah, like they tried to get some picks, and I think they end up actually like missing some of their CC train. But even if they hit it, if we play it properly, we just have Sanctification to stop their dive. Then we can just kite back and have Lunara just keep poking and poking until Greymane finds a kill or Kerrigan kind of finds a combo.
Yeah. All right. That was interesting. Interesting Lunara pick. Very good pick. And it's always fun to see heroes like that where you don't expect them. Real quick shout out to MasterLeague.net. Where these stats come from. If you haven't checked out that site, it is amazing for statistics. Very cool site. So, all right, let's do the third draft because the third draft is the very next game in this series. It's Game 4 between you guys on Towers of Doom. And so Towers of Doom, a hard map to kind of wrap your head around a lot of times. Until you practice it a lot, because it doesn't have as clear cut of this is good here as a lot of other maps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So tell us about Towers of Doom and what you like here.
Like heroes wise,
just in general, what you like about it, what you think works on it, what you think is bad on it, or just like why you like the map. It's whatever. Yeah.
It's a very interesting map because you don't have the traditional like, okay, you wipe the team, you can push to core. Like that doesn't happen in this map. Their core is in 40 shots, which capping the bell towers gives you those shots, and so it's definitely a lot of team fighting done on this map. Like you can't really just run around the map and push the waves. Like I think on Gale Force we do that sometimes. We had a game earlier on in this tournament where we just went like Illidan, Abathur, Tastar, Leoric, and we just like didn't really team fight. We just ran around the map and won the game that way. But you can't really do that in this map, which not many people do. But yeah, it's always an option. Instead, they're like. Everyone knows, like in the competitive scene, like the first altar or the first bell tower phase or whatever it's called has 3 altars that spawn, 2 on the top side of the map and then 1 on the bottom side of the map. And so global heroes are good for capping one of them and being able to just like come to your team and fight like a 5v4 on the other half of the map. You see rotations being pressured here. Like rotating between mid and bottom. Sometimes teams look to do, and they look to pick people off in the rotation, or in the bottom lane if they're sitting there trying to soak it. Right. Things like that.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give this one to Gale Force eSports for free. I'm going to give you a tip about this map. It's called Stage Dive. Stage Dive on this map is amazing. I love it. I don't care what my comp is. If I'm ETC on this map, everyone's going to get mad at me, and I'm taking Stage Dive. And we win.
I seem to remember some games where you weren't the most popular player.
But we win. Yeah. All right. So
as long as you win at the end of the day, I guess.
There you go. Yep. There you go. See, you can have that one for free. All right. So
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So you guys ban out the Zagara. Obviously, the Cawthon Luck Zagara play and this map with Nidus could be a whole problem. They do opt to not ban out a target ban for you, but rather a map ban with Falstad. Is that how you would analyze that ban of theirs?
Yeah, I think that ban just we have first picking Falstad sort of puts us in a really good spot to be able to go into other things. Like it solidifies our like as I was saying earlier, our solo cap of one shrine being able to fly to another and like fight it there. It's just an all-around good pick in general, and it generates value on this map because of his global pressure.
So Michael Udall wants to know what the new KT build is, and it sounds like an emergency. So
I responded back to.
Oh, okay.
In game, I told him Q because I think Q build is the KT build of choice. If you are to go to KT now, I'm still like not sure exactly. If KT is even like worth picking at this point, but if you are to pick KT, it's probably like Q build at 1. Let me actually hold on. Let me go to Kill Last really quick. Little interjection. Convection at 1 unless you need Mana Addict, and then Netherwind at 4. Probably Burned Flesh at 7. Phoenix at 10. Pyromaniac at 13. Fury the Sunwell at 16, and probably Flamethrower at 20.
So just Q all over the place,
Yeah, like 4 Q talents.
All right. Well, now you know, Michael Udall and everybody else. There you go. Straight from the mage expert himself. All right. So you guys pick up the tier here. First pick. Sorry.
Yeah. No problem. We do end up picking the trio first pick here, which in hindsight, I actually don't think we needed to pick the trio there. I picked this draft to analyze because I actually think this game we misdrafted a large part of the game, or a large part of this draft rather. They banned the Illidan like for a reason because we're very comfortable on Illidan. Right. I think we might have sort of forgotten about that. And I actually don't think we lost on Illidan this entire tournament, so I think we could have just first picked Illidan. And the reason that is not because we want to go into like a pure Illidan carry composition, but because Michael Udall is really good at being able to play Illidan with not that much support and still being able to like make things happen.
Right, he's a survivor on that hero for sure.
He definitely is, and it opens up a lot of options because we don't need to pick an Illidan comp, so we can pretty much like they're going to respond to the Illidan, then we can respond to whatever they pick from there because they're trying to counter Illidan. But instead, we end up going with a Tyrael, which forces them to either, like, heroes that are good with Tyrael are, like, Greymane and Kerrigan, I think, are the top two. And if they pick both of those heroes to try to, like, deny them from us, that puts them in a really awkward spot. And so that's sort of our thought process here, I think. And
so you're saying you could have basically gotten the Illidan without having to pay the full price of picking Illidan, and then just he would have been fine. Okay, I got you. All right.
Opens up a lot of doors. Even like first pick Illidan is kind of risky, but we're very confident in our Illidan play to be able to do that. Like, I'm not saying like you should just go and like you're like in first pick your Illidan because you might get countered and your team won't pick a good comp that like knows what to do.
Yeah, it's very
probably be a bad time.
And you're probably not my duo, so
yeah, it's important. It's important to emphasize, that pro drafting and Hero League drafting very different things a lot of times.
Yeah, indeed they are. But you can still take concepts from Hero League drafting and knowing like what picks are good in what scenarios and use that in your Hero League games.
So they go ahead and pick up the Li Ming Uther. I believe we again taking that Li Ming away from you, and then to at least in my view avoiding the double. And this is double invulnerability. So yeah, anything else to say about those or?
Yeah, I think I actually spoke to them after the games, and they told me, the Li Ming was mostly a deny pick. It's a really good hero for Som. Som plays Li Ming really well, but they prioritized it as high as they did, just basically so I couldn't get the hero. And
would you have in this scenario, right? I mean,
I'm not. I think we might have. It depends on what else they picked. We might have held it to see if we can get it later on in the draft. I'm not exactly sure. It's situational, but Li Ming is definitely a hero we always know that we can have success on. So
you're obviously very comfortable on it, which goes a long way. So.
Yeah, for sure. And then the Uther pick it's a comfort hero for June, and it denies us the option to have the double vulnerable, just like a dive comp.
Right. So you've decided to opt out of the Illidan, picked up the Tyrael first, and then you go ahead and get Greymane Rhaegar.
Yep. Greymane good with the Tyrael, and it's actually pretty good into Li Ming. Li Ming takes force armor and tries to eliminate a little bit of that ulti burst damage, but it's still really good to be able to pressure her. And like if Uther's de-shielding his own backline, it usually means the other team is winning that team fight if he's forced to do that.
Right.
And so that puts us in a pretty comfortable spot. And so we just okay, we can pick our healer, pick our Greymane, and just see what they pick and then respond to it and like have like good counters to it.
Okay. So ban phase coming out now from Murloc Geniuses. There's the Illidan ban. So now that door has closed as far as your carry goes. Yeah, and actually I forgot to make 2 screenshots. But so this is interesting here. You guys ban out the Medivh.
Yep. The Medivh ban, on paper, it's like, why do you ban Medivh? But we have like knowledge that they play Medivh on this map and they're comfortable on the hero Medivh, so we just didn't want to get caught off guard. We already were aware of it, so we didn't want to take any chances, so we just banned the Medivh.
Oh, see, that was
purely a target ban.
That deep intel ban. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
It's purely an intel ban. Purely an intel ban.
That espionage. Okay, I got you. All right. Well, I mean, I think Medivh has a ton of potential that's untapped for pros in this game, personally.
I do too. Yeah. I think did we? I'm not sure if we actually saw Medivh at all. Did we?
I don't remember seeing him, no.
I don't either.
Which is unfortunate, because I really think he's awesome. Like, not for me, but for people who are good at the game, yeah. Like,
I don't know. I remember after Dreadnought found out Medivh was going to be a hero, he posted on Twitter that he was so tilted. He didn't know how a hero like this, versatile and this seemingly strong could actually be released into the game, and Medivh has so much potential, and I think people are wary of trying to utilize its full potential, but as time goes on, I think Medivh is going to become insanely powerful and will be getting nerfed at some point. I'm not sure exactly when it's going to get to that point, but I'm pretty confident saying that there's going to be one point in the life of Heroes of the Storm that Medivh will become so ridiculous that we won't be able to do anything against it.
That's exactly how I feel. I mean, forget all his spells, just his trait. You're like, whoa. He can just look at whatever he wants to anytime. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And soak experience at the same time. He can safely soak. He can provide vision to the team. He has a was it 45-second button, 25, was it 25 or 45? I'm not sure, to be able to just like pop it and see everything in like a super radius.
I don't remember how long it is actually, but
actually look this up really quick.
Yeah, go for it. What we're getting at here is, I guess it's up to Gale Force to bring Medivh to NA and make him godlike. So
yeah,
there you go. It's on you, boys. That's fine.
It's actually it's a 30-second cooldown, which is still pretty insane. It lasts for 5 seconds, so it's a 25-second downtime of being able to see like basically the entire section of the map that you're in. So pretty good ability.
It would be basically the whole thing.
Yeah,
right?
Infernal Shrines.
Pretty much like 2 whole lanes. Yeah, Infernal Shrines, you can see the whole lane. Yep.
Well, all right. Well, get practicing that Medivh. So we'll move on in this draft for now, but I expect to see that Medivh out of you guys real soon. So they pick up the ETC Thrall.
Yep. Just sort of standard picks here. ADC is a good tank. It's good into our comp. He has a pretty good mosh opportunities here actually. ADC is pretty strong here because they are able to pick the mosh pit Divine Shield, which is kind of like scary for us because we did in this scenario ban the ETC last time around, but we didn't want to face the Medivh, so it leaves the ETC up for them to pick. Also probably a misplay on our hand because we were so scared of that Medivh, we kind of played into them. Yeah, kind of either forgot or like played into them. Like we thought we were maybe okay and we're able to deal with it because we end up we need to pick a backline interrupt after this, and so we end up picking the Tychus for that. There's like Sylvanas, who's a good interrupt, and Tychus is pretty decent as well, but
I remember feeling like really like puzzled by the Tychus pick here. Could you walk us through what why you picked that?
We picked Tychus because we needed a backline interrupt is the main reason. Tychus is a hero we're comfortable on. It's a hero that's pretty good, or seemingly decent in this scenario, pretty good in this scenario. But in hindsight, we actually should not have picked Tychus here, because what we sort of forgot is that Tychus excels when, so you have a good front line to be able to lock down the enemy front line. Tychus is a tank killer. He presses D and shreds your opponent's HP. But if you don't have anything to lock the enemy down, they'll just run away from Tychus and his D will expire and you won't get any Tychus value.
Right.
So we actually sort of played into them, had to play into their draft on this, and we ended up doing it incorrectly actually, because while he has an interrupt for mosh pit, he actually doesn't get too much more value on this map.
Okay. So could, for people who might not know what you mean by backline interrupt, do you mean interrupting the mosh pit in Lehman?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a backline hero that has interrupt for the enemy's mosh pit. Like we can't just go like all melee into them because ETC will just slide mosh us before anything could happen and we'll just all die. So we need a backline hero, and Tychus is a backline hero that has grenade, which can interrupt mosh pits.
Okay. Now, do you like the Tracer pick here for yourself?
If they don't go the last pick that they do, I think it's not bad. I think it's actually not a bad pick here.
I thought this was a smart I was like, oh, that's a smart pick. Yeah. So they get the Lily. Yeah. So double support with a Lily.
Between the jugs and the blinds, it seems like.
Yeah, it's in hindsight this draft.
Are you having flashbacks? Are you okay?
A little bit, but no, it's okay. They played it really well. We were not expecting that. They caught us off guard. Props to them for that. Tracer is good because like I'm able to pressure the Li Ming. I'm able Tychus will in theory. We're able to really pressure their front line with the Tychus. So Tychus will chunk out ETC. If he slides in, Tychus can just dash away from it, or we can just tank on top of it and turn and kill them. And so while he's pressuring the front line and Greyman's sort of auto-attacking the front line, there's always potential for us to dive into their back line with the Tyrael. And so, Tyrael can dive in, Greyman can dive in, and Tracer can dive in, and we just sanctification on their backline, and we force a D shield out, and then we just turn on somebody else and kill them. But so this game, until Lily Point, it was hard. It was gonna be kind of hard. We had to play it correctly, but it was still very much a winnable game. and
Yeah.
then they pick the
The
Lily.
Lily. Nobody's ever seen Lily coming ever in the history of ever anything. you can't be thinking about Lily, you know?
Very rarely do
Yeah.
you think about Lily, but
And I guess that
Lily
was
was so valued here.
that was
And
her
we
strength.
we actually managed in this game to get a pretty sizable lead. We were at 32 health on our core, and they were at 16. We're actually ahead because we were getting kills across the map. I was able to utilize Tracer effectively and get some pickoffs onto them on the early to mid game. But then later game, when they got their Jugs and their like Lily at level 20, they went the ultimate upgrade. Shouldn't even need to go with our other talents, which are like usually like the Lily's best talents. You could just hit Jugs, and we couldn't do anything against it. Like we were struggling really hard into the late game here, and that's where their comp excels.
Well, and as Atso points out in the chat, it forces the Titus to choose which ult to interrupt, like the Mosh or the Jugs, and then the other one.
I'm pretty certain Tychus Grenade actually doesn't interrupt Lily Jugs.
Yeah, only stuns do.
Only stuns will interrupt it. So yeah, so it's we actually cannot interrupt Lily Jugs.
You actually
in this game.
don't unless you go Judgment.
Unless we go Judgment, you're right. And we actually that's actually funny. It reminded me. Actually, we after the game after the series, we're like, maybe we actually could have picked Judgment there just to cancel the Jugs.
Right.
Like, we didn't get that much sanctification value. We could have played it a little bit better, and that's kind of on us for not doing so. But yeah, unless we went Judgment, we had no cancel.
Yeah, I was
Team Never Die.
Team Never Die. Yeah, I was watching it, and I was thinking like they should get Judgment, but like it's hard to get Judgment when you're planning on going Sanct, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, we went Judgment in this tournament versus Naventic actually.
Oh, really?
In the Cursed Hollow game, where we went.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We went Greymane, we went Tracer, and we went Teriel, and they only had a solo healer Rhaegar, and we were just looking to pick the Rhaegar because he has a cleanse ability for somebody else, but he does not have cleanse for himself.
Yep.
So we just Judgment him and we kill him, which we did a lot that game.
Yeah.
Which ended up leading to the Tracer pick again.
So it's not like you're totally uncomfortable playing with Judgment. It's just kind of getting the courtesy till too late. And it's not like you would have won because of Judgment.
Scenario.
Yeah, but it might have.
If so, it might have done more.
Helped. Yeah.
Might not have. Don't really know, but yeah.
So taking a look at the stats here, it was a 26-minute game, a little longer than your average, and a lot more kills on their side than you. I mean, with the blinds and the massive amount of heals, it was really hard for you guys to get a kill this game.
Yeah, it was. We see Tychus actually has a really sizable amount of damage, but it's not really effective damage because we didn't get that many kills with it. It's he tries to do a lot, but he just can't really finish anybody off, and we can't either because of their ultimates.
Look at the Li Ming 10-8 and 0. She was just able to she had a Khroen-esque game that she was like just going off that game. It was scary, but
some plays pretty good.
While soaking with the number 1 XP.
Oh wow, yeah, actually she did.
True. That's true.
Yeah,
good catch, Ryan.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, the Tracer has the most XP on my team. Ooh, Tracer stoking everything.
Yeah. Their amazing wave clear. Yeah. So yeah, you guys ended up dropping that one, and that brought you up to Game 5, which you guys ended up losing that too. Unfortunately, but I thought the series was amazing, and Murloc Geniuses really surprised a lot of people. Obviously, there's a lot of great players on the team; they knew they were going to be good, but to come out the gate like that and beat Gale Force in the finals, that's impressive. They played well, but really, I think they drafted really well. The games they won, they drafted like geniuses. Like it was cool.
Yeah. They did draft really well. They caught us off guard in some spots, and like props to them for being able to dictate drafts like that and for playing well. Like it was a really good series. Like I'm glad at least like it was a close series because it's good for people to watch. Like people get excited over really close series like that.
I'm like
really good for the scene for sure.
Yeah, I'm like a 33-year-old 6'6" man, and you should have seen how excited I was watching you guys. I was like yelling and jumping. Yeah, it reminded me of my dad watching the Yankees. But,
I'm glad.
So yeah, but there is another regional coming up, and I'm sure you guys learned a lot from this series, from this tournament, this qualifier here, and you guys are going to be back. And I have I'm a big Gale Force fan. Like I said, I watched you guys debut in Austin. I think I'm a fanboy since then. So, you know, I'm gonna be rooting for you, and I know you guys can do really well at the next one. So I wish you guys the best of luck.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate all the support
Yeah.
and the kind words and everything. Like, thank you for having me here.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we
coming.
go, I gotta give away another prize though. You know, it's important.
Okay. Always more prizes.
Yeah, always more prizes.
Everyone loves prizes.
So what I got here is something real spooky. Put the kids to bed. You know, close your eyes. Mature content warning. It's a Diablo's head nightlight. I think you just plug it in and he lights up your hall with the fires of hell, which is cool. So we got that for you. This thing's huge. Like, this has got to like double your electricity bill. But you could put it on top of your Christmas tree this Christmas. That'd be sick. Okay.
Well, I'm seeing it now. It looks pretty terrifying.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So go ahead and type in the chat, and I'll pick a winner. Find the window here. Make sure we do it right this time. There it is. Yeah, too spooky, man. Too spooky. Yeah. All right, give you guys a little bit of time. All right. So you
also, I guess.
go
sorry.
ahead. Do your shout outs. Do your whatever you want to say, man. The stage is yours.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, just first of all, shout outs to organization Gale Force eSports. They're really amazing. They allow me to do what I do right now, which is like my dream. It's what I love doing. So thank you, GFE. Thank you, everybody who's watching. Thank you for having me on, both of you.
Yeah.
I really love what you're doing for the community here. Every little bit helps in growing it. And so, like, that's what really caught my eye. Like, people trying to help the community and give back to them. And so that's why I really wanted to be here.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love when people do that. And also, Gale Force very soon will be having a pretty big announcement.
Ooh.
You know, it's
teaser of a teaser. Here we go.
Teaser of a teaser.
Flashback.
It is the announcement of an announcement. So be on the lookout for that. You know, just don't tell anybody I told you. Just
okay. This is just between us and the 20
tell us
people.
where we might find more information on this announcement when it might come.
Well, be sure to. It'll be announced on Twitter. There's probably going to be an announcement on the Gale Force website, galeforceesports.com. I'll definitely be retweeting it myself. My Twitter is twitter.com/GFE_Khroen.
It's right there on the screen for you.
Yep, it's indeed on the screen. Thank you. Gale Force's Twitter is @GFEsports. Yeah, be sure just stay tuned in the near future. I'm sure you'll hear of it.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Can't wait. All right. So let's see who won this Diablo lamp thing. Our winner is K1KA1DER Kickalder. There you go.
Congratulations, K1.
Yeah, grats to you. Just send me a message on Twitch here with your address, and I will send that out. And yes, it is rigged. You are correct. Rigged to this guy. All right. So yeah, Khroen, thank you so much for coming on. We learned about drafting the Gale Force way, which was of course very unique this past weekend and very fun to watch. Yep. So yeah, and once again, good luck in it's September, right?
Yep. PAX. The next event will be PAX Prime, which is September 2nd through 5th, I believe, is PAX. So yeah.
All right.
That's where we'll be.
Awesome.
All right.
We'll definitely be watching, and we'd love to have you back sometime. So.
All right. Thank you very much for having me.
Yep. Thanks. Have a good one, man. Bye, guys.
See ya.